You are now listening to Soul and Wonders Podcast, Episode 1.
Welcome to the Soul and Wonder Podcast, where the conduits of the body, depths of the mind, and atlas of the soul are explored with devotion. Through cultural exchange, Christopher and Sara and their guests will deliver sacred wisdom from around the globe, uncovering the hidden gems of conscious living and holistic healing, all to empower you on your journey of self-discovery. And now, here are your hosts, Christopher and Sara.
What is up, everybody? I'm Chris, here with my wife, Sara.
Hello.
And we want to welcome you to our very first episode of the Soul and Wonder Podcast.
Woohoo!
So in today's episode, we'll provide you with an overview on what Soul and Wonder is, what we do and how we came to be, and lastly, our future plans for both the business and this podcast.
So for those of you who don't know who we are and what Soul and Wonder is, we're an online integrative holistic healing center, and we focus on restoring people's health through various healing modalities. Our purpose is to really turn awareness and balance to individuals so that they're able to prosper. We really have this idea of a more peaceful, coexistent world.
So our services include herbal medicine and nutritional support, which both go hand in hand, as well as the energy healing and tarot guidance. So in 2015, I successfully attained a certification at the Heart of Herbs, and they are recognized through the American Herbalist Guild, and I'm now a certified herbalist. And so those that are kind of unfamiliar with the herbal medicine, I like to look at it as the cornerstone of all current and past healing remedies. And when we cultivate herbs and use them properly in conjunction with the right foods, they can be extremely beneficial in healing while preventing and treating illness and disease. I know that myself as well as Sara can be a testament to that, and we really feel that we need to get this information out to everybody. And again, I want to stress the point that herbs are should always be used together with healing foods, because when we take plant-based nutrition at its core and the foundation of that and use herbs on top of that, that's when we can really see ourselves blossom.
And I focus on energy healing and tarot guidance along with nutritional support with Christopher. But the energy and tarot guidance, that really falls under the body, mind, and soul, but it particularly focuses on the mind and soul aspect. So I do Reiki, which is universal life force in Japanese. It's a technique for transferring that universal life energy through the use of hand placements on and above the body from a giver to a receiver. So I'm the giver, and I actually have my first and second degree level of Reiki, and that's in the Usui system of natural healing. Reiki can be done in person, and believe it or not, it can actually be done from a distance. Both methods help to balance the emotional, physical, and spiritual health. I like to do both methods. That to me, out of experience, they're as equally effective as the next. And we can go into more detail later about Reiki specifically in probably another podcast. That could take a whole episode. So I also do the tarot, which tarot cards, that's a collection of archetype symbols that represent human experience. I really use them as a psychological tool to help others connect with their own intuition. It really helps to create a safe space for people to explore their inner workings, and it gives them a little extra insight on what questions they need to be asking themselves regarding their certain situations.
So you might be asking yourself, why use the body, mind, and soul approach to healing? Well, first off, the body, mind, and soul are all interconnected. And when one is out of balance, the others will be as well. I don't want to neglect the benefits of what Western medicine has to offer and the technological advances we've had over the past century, but much of what Western medicine has is it only maintains sickness rather than prevent or even reverse disease. So if I was broke my arm, I need to go to the hospital. Well, of course, I'm not going to use herbs right off the bat to treat that broken arm. I might need surgery, so I might need to get rushed to the hospital, get it set back in place, and then therefore continue the healing process from there. But by incorporating the holistic approach into our daily lives, we can rekindle your body's ability to properly heal, ensuring long-term health overall.
And I just want to clarify something really quickly. When we say soul, talking about body, mind, and soul healing, I don't want you to feel like you have to have a particular spiritual or religious belief to be a part of our healing services. So when I say soul, I'm mostly referring to the energetic body that we have, the subtle body, the energy that we cannot see with our eyes but can feel. So I don't want you to feel like that word alone can restrict you from using our services at all. So then I guess we should start off by talking a little bit about how we met and how Soul and Wonder came to be. So
who the hell are we?
Who are we? Well, my name is Sara, as you already know, and I met Christopher while serving in the Peace Corps in Tanzania in Africa. A completely random story. A girl actually overheard me talking about needing to go to this festival, but I couldn't find anyone to go with me. And I definitely was going. I just wanted to find someone to go with me. And when you're in Peace Corps, everybody's friends, even if you've never met. So she overheard me talking to someone about this, and by the way, thanks, Ginny. And so Ginny she gave me his phone number and said, hey, I already know a guy who is going. Maybe you can go together. So I ended up calling him that night, and we talked for like 45 minutes. It was crazy. It seemed like we'd known each other forever. And I remember when we got off the phone, the first thing in my head was, I wonder if he's cute. But I didn't want to stalk him on Facebook because I didn't want that to be the point of going to the festival. So I respected his space and my own mind and just forgot about it. We ended up meeting actually a week later while in the capital city of Tanzania, Dodoma, at a Peace Corps gathering. And it was, as cliche as it sounds, love at first sight. I mean, it was absolutely perfect.
I told my friend who I was sitting with that I was going to marry her after about 5 minutes of talking to her.
we were enveloped in philosophical conversation, spiritual conversation, all the things that you really don't talk to someone about when you first meet them. And from that point, we knew that we were going to be inseparable. We began, since we were 3-day bus ride away, we actually talked on the phone every single night for at least 3 hours at a time. There were very few occasions where the time did not reach 3 hours. So that was just the beginning of Soul and Wonder, because we both had a passion for writing and we both had our own blogs. His was actually called Soul and Wonder. So we actually merged blogs together into one site, and that's how Soul and Wonder started. It was actually just a blog for our rantings and ravings about things that we didn't like in the world, things we wanted to change in the world. We had some poetry and just some insightful posts.
And you can still check out those posts that are still available on our website under blog and then under the reflections tab if you want to go back in time and see what was on our mind.
And we'll continue to update that as well as we travel. However, this podcast is going to be a really good outlet for our expressions as well.
I think it's really important to note as well as, previous to going to the Peace Corps, how we were feeling. And I know for myself that I was actually in the corporate world. I was working in the IT industry, doing very well, making good money, and I had just finished graduate school. I have a master's degree in organizational leadership. So I was climbing the corporate ladder, feeling all good as far as, my social life was concerned, but there was something missing. And what was missing was my longing desire to actually make an impact in this world and to help people. And I didn't know what that looked like, because here I am sitting at a desk, traveling a little bit, doing what I was doing. And again, not a terrible thing, but at the same point, I knew there was something more out there. And so I decided to apply for the Peace Corps. And long story short, a year later, I got an email on a Wednesday evening saying that I've been accepted and I have 7 days to decide. So that is when I said, you know what, I'm going to do this. And you know what, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I don't want to live my life in regret not knowing I did something. So fast forward to what Sara was just talking about. I think, our desire to serve the people and what that looked like beyond Peace Corps, not, just at that time.
So Soul and Wonder pretty much evolved as we deepened our interests with herbalism, energy work. I got back into my tarot reading, and through time it just kind of started falling together because, like he said before, he knew he had a passion for helping people, he just didn't know how. I was the same way. I had always struggled with my role in the world. Like, how can I learn the fastest, grow the most, and also help people do the same? And we just really didn't know how to do it. And so all of this started to develop really slowly but organically, and we weren't sure how to put them together until one day it just made sense. Like, hey, we need to put herbalism together with energy work, together with nutritional support, and together with tarot guidance, along with other different modalities that we'll incorporate into our business in the future. But the key to our business was this random guy who dropped a random book in Christopher's lap one day after returning home from America. He gave a speech at his grandfather's church about his African Peace Corps experience. And this guy, Joe was his name, right?
Yep, Joe.
Joe gives him a macrobiotic book, which had absolutely nothing to do with the topic at hand. So that's the funny part about it. He's just like, hey, here's this macrobiotics book. You might like it. And macrobiotics, for those of you that don't know, is a philosophy on a mostly plant-based diet written by Michio and Aveline Kushi. They're Japanese, and it's an incredible book. It really talks about the forces of energy within us and our foods that we eat. So it talks about yin and yang, how
all the hippie stuff,
and it really, really harps on a natural, clean diet. And Christopher and I, at the time, wanted to do P90X. I think it was a 3-month P90X thing. Kicked our asses, but we did it. And we also wanted to eat a much cleaner diet, especially because Christopher was trying to heal himself of psoriasis and other gastrointestinal issues that he had.
So I was dealing with psoriasis since the age of 19. And it has really taken a toll on my body. My skin was constantly inflamed, my elbows, my knees, even my face. And I really didn't know. I really honestly neglected it for so many years. I kind of just shoved it to the side and said, oh, maybe it will go away. I didn't realize the connection, the true connection between what I was dealing with and the food that I was eating. And until I realized that, I was only perpetuating my disease. So again, the macrobiotics book really helped to jumpstart our road to healing, my road to healing. And
within 2 weeks, I'm not even exaggerating, within 2 weeks of this macrobiotic diet, along with Reiki, because he was getting Reiki sessions by me, as well as tarot guidance.
And my herbs, obviously.
He was definitely doing all of his teas and herbal supplements, and we were also doing yoga. Along with all that, within just 2 weeks, his psoriasis disappeared off his face, and it was significantly reducing on his hardest spots, his elbows. It was absolutely incredible. While all this other time, doctors were giving him steroid shots, steroid creams, trying to give him pills with this whole list of side effects.
And I want to mention that I did take the steroid creams in the past because I was ignorant to the fact that, what food has to offer to the body. And, the steroid creams, they worked, they did their job, but what would happen is the psoriasis would just come back with a vengeance. And it haunted me for all these years. So finally here we are, I'm healing my psoriasis. I'm at the point right now where it's practically gone. My gastrointestinal disorder, which is the root cause of this psoriasis, is gone. I feel absolutely incredible. My energy levels are up. I sleep better at night. I lost 25 pounds in what? How?
Like 2 months.
2 months. And I've maintained that this weight now since that point. So your body has this system where it regulates where it needs to be at. And now I'm just extremely comfortable. I feel great. And I know Sarah can say the same about herself.
Definitely. And so, through experiencing firsthand the power of nutrition, which we eventually evolved from a macrobiotic philosophy and more to a vegan philosophy, with leaning more towards we kind of combined macrobiotics with veganism with a whole foods plant-based diet. While we don't stick to them necessarily completely 100%, we still have to cook with oils once in a while, but we're slowly but surely trying to get away from that.
But we do not eat meat or dairy.
No, we do not eat meat or dairy. But because of these whole foods, plant-based, and vegan philosophies and things of this such, we really discovered the power of nutrition, and we want to share that with the world. I mean, when I say we spend all of our free time learning more about a plant-based diet and the benefits of it, I'm not lying. We watch documentary after documentary. We listen to lecture after lecture. We're constantly reading research papers and articles. The search for more education never stops. And so we've really decided to create the foundation of Soul and Wonder as nutritional support, and as we learn along the way, we will deliver that information to you. The energy work, the tarot guidance, and the herbal aspect of our business is like icing on the cake. So as we evolve and as we grow, this is what we are learning and what we can give to you.
So what is the purpose of this podcast? Well, first off, it's a way for you to explore the world without ever having to leave your living room.
We hope you do leave your living room, though. For those of you, we understand, it's hard sometimes to travel, so we want to bring this cultural exchange to you.
And so along the way, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be recording our travels as we further our studies in holistic health. So what our plans are, just to give you a little bit of a preview, we're departing for Cartagena, Colombia, September 28th. And
of this year.
Of this year.
Now.
So very soon. So we will be departing for Colombia, and we are going to be backpacking through Colombia for about a month, and then we will enter Ecuador. And this is when our learning journey starts. We will be actually living in the Amazon jungle, studying with a shaman. Also, we like to call a local healer.
Medicine healer or medicine worker.
And so what we will be doing will be learning all the practices of shamanism, including the plant medicine and the energy healing, because we want to bring that knowledge back to you. We've seen the power in it. There's a great documentary. What was the documentary about those 10 people that go to?
Oh, it was right on the tip of my tongue.
Well, if we think about it, we'll let you know. But anyways, these 10 people were placed in the Amazon jungle for 30 days with varying diseases. One gentleman had type 2 diabetes, a couple people had cancer, one person had IBS, depression, alcoholism, and the list goes on.
I think it was Sacred Science.
Sacred Science, that's it. Well, the one gentleman who had type 2 diabetes was actually healed within 10 days. 10 days. You didn't hear that wrong. 10 days. And again, other people, a girl with IBS, suffered from IBS for years.
Well, because she realized in her ayahuasca experience, which we'll dedicate podcasts to in the future, podcast episodes, she realized through her ayahuasca experience that her IBS was a physical manifestation of her emotional turbulence. And so once she went inward deeply enough, she cured herself because she realized that it was she herself causing the IBS. And that's something you don't hear about in Western culture.
So again, what we'll be doing, we'll be traveling, and our last destination will be in Peru, where we're going to be actually living for 3 months, taking care of a house in the Amazon in Peru. So we'll be in the Amazon 2 different times, 2 different places. But really, it's a way for us to connect with you, and we're going to be having interviews with travelers we meet along the way,
Locals,
with local natives, and talking about their approach to holistic health. Because holistic health, although it's one, body, mind, and soul, people have different approaches to treating all 3 aspects. So we want to gain that insight, bring that back to you, and have a nice big party.
And this podcast is also a good way for us to share tips and tricks to maintaining a healthy lifestyle. And also in the future, we might dedicate particular episodes to a specific healing modality that we do. I foresee some episodes regarding tarot, really digging into it and how you could even use it yourself. About energy work, I have a pretty long, crazy story about why I got into energy work. So there will be other episodes that he'll share more about nutritional and herbal support. But it's really just a way for us to document our travels, as he said, bring the knowledge back to you, and just have a good time with it. Have fun. This isn't going to be a podcast that's out every single week, on the exact same time. It's going to happen as we go and as we grow. So those are our plans currently with the podcast and our business right now online. And the reason it's online is so that we can travel and continue to grow and learn. But eventually we do want to have an actual center, a physical building that you can come to utilize our services. We have future ideas of bringing in other healing modalities as well. We still don't know where that's going to be. It really just depends on South America and what that brings for us.
But be sure to also visit our site to utilize our services that we have currently. We do phone consultations, we do Skype consultations, and even via email.
Yeah, so even though we're traveling, we still have that we're doing. Just be patient with us, because we might be in some areas where service is not so good, so it might take us a couple days to get back to your emails. However, we will still be working while we are traveling.
But for any updates, you can find us on Facebook at Soul and Wonder Inc., as well as on Instagram at Soul and Wonder Inc. And lastly, our website is www.soulinwonder.com.
And that's SOULINWONDER.com. And you'll find our email on that website as well, transform@soulinwonder.com.
And until next time, we wish you the best.